So Mike, how did this all start for you?
Well, it all started really in terms of working with people when I started to work with mentally handicapped children in Slough in the middle of the 60s. Before then, I wasn't all that good at school, but I had fantastic parents who used to say, well, if you want to learn, you can stay home all day. Then I worked in a factory. That wasn't particularly great. But after a while, I met a man called Alec Dixon, who was in charge of community service volunteers. And he was a fantastic encourager. And that was a kind of pointer, because later on, when I started to work more with people, I said, well, what's encouraged you most in your life? What's helped you most in your life? And they said, well, I had this person, this teacher, who made me feel special. And they made me feel special in a certain kind of way. They looked at who I was rather than who I wasn't. They built on my strengths rather than kept emphasizing my shortcomings. And then working with the young people, the mentally handicapped kids, it was to look at when did they come alive. It was also to expect them to take responsibility and so on. So that's when it really started, the idea of building on strengths, the idea of encouraging people to take responsibility. And I was very fortunate because I had some great teachers who kept reinforcing that message.
So it's really much, as you say, keep building, keep telling people what they're good at as opposed to what they're bad at.
It's about much more than that. It's about looking for when they come alive. Another of my great teachers, a guy called George Lywood, said, look at the young people. The hardest thing we have is to look at people. Look at when they come alive, look at when their body relaxes and when they change, when they actually become totally focused. These days we call it flow, we call it going into the zone. Then it was about, when are you at ease? When are you in your element? Later on in life I was a football manager as well, and then looking at moving the players around the field to see what's the situation they get in where they feel at home, they can see patterns quickly, they can see the end result, they can encourage other people. And then I was fortunate to run a therapeutic community where you got people coming from mental hospital and from prison, and we used to say to them, welcome here, I believe you can choose to be creative if you want, and those kind of things. And one of our graduates, a woman called Sue, 35 years later I met her, and she said, looking back on my life, I remember when the police came to me and said to me, Sue, we believe you were a victim of abuse in children's homes. She says, no, I was a survivor of abuse. And she carried that on. So it's again, getting people to take responsibility, setting goals, but most of all building on their strengths.
So is this, in terms of what you're teaching about strengths, is it basically about what you can teach other people?
That is part of it, but in a way it isn't about me. It's actually watching people and seeing where they're alive and then saying, well, where do they go A, B, and then leap to Z? When do they see the end? Those kind of things. When do they feel at ease? When are they alive? And so on.
So it's about looking at the individual.
Absolutely. And when you're working with teams, it's working with the board and saying, what's your picture of perfection? What's your picture of success? Because on one level, I can say all these things about, everybody's an artist, everybody's creative, everybody's got something special to give to the world. Because I believe that, because everybody's got a vocation, everybody's got a calling, everybody's got something special to give. And they're pressed to do that. And it's about following their vocation, finding the right vehicle and doing valuable work. But if you're in a team, it's about what's that picture of success? Now let's work backwards. What's the strategies for getting there? Now, how can we mobilise everybody's strengths to do that? What you see is in teams they can get to 8 out of 10, but if they're going to get to 10 out of 10, they have to do the maintenance, but then put people in the place where they can do that piece of magic. And that is fantastic, and that's why I believe in people. Do I believe in people? Absolutely. But I believe in the best parts of people when they're alive, because everybody is an artist, and everybody can do their best, and everybody can give what they can to the next generation.
Thank you.